All right, Kathys, we are back. We took a break. It was a combination of busy travel, a bat mitzvah, and we were fighting.
We're fighting, and what made me actually reflect on the bat mitzvah, and congratulations to Avi who listens to the pod, and his daughter Olivia.
It was awesome.
We're old. We have friends who have 13-year-olds.
Yeah.
That's what I came away from that. I was like, we're already going to bat mitzvahs. It's no longer just like 2-year-old birthdays.
Yeah. So bat mitzvah is either 12 or 13. Bar mitzvahs are 13. Yeah, it's funny. Haley said the same thing. I did not. I knew all the songs and I was having a great time.
But you didn't stay for Daya.
No, I didn't stay for Daya, but I didn't feel old.
And, what I noticed, which was a really interesting takeaway, how like young kids interact, is everything is just getting the Snapchat or TikTok the whole time.
Yeah, you got to get the moment.
And whatever song was playing, whether it was Kendrick, Drake, whatever, and then Daya has the Chainsmokers song.
Yeah,
they're just filming themselves.
Yeah,
saying the words.
Yeah, well,
so they could post.
Yeah, I mean, my guess, if someone took 30 videos that night, they posted 0 to 1.
Oh, you think they just wanted to find the best one?
Yeah, I think
each 13-year-old took 50 videos, if I had to guess.
So the positives of it is I would die for some videos of myself at 13. Die.
But don't you just remember some of those? Not the videos.
I don't remember anything.
Like I remember being at Eric Weiss's bar mitzvah singing Bone Thugs and Harmony on stage.
See, I don't remember anything. I don't remember. I wish I had videos of that stuff. Where do you have that video?
I don't think the video exists.
Yeah. So I would say the beauty of today is that you do get to capture all of it.
Yeah, I think you're capturing too much.
Yeah, that's fine. I think, I mean, to be fair, I would say adults are equally bad at.
For sure. Yeah, like you go to any sporting event or concert, everyone just has their phone up. I actually make it a point if I go to, I forget the last concert I went to, but I'll I tell myself I'll take one 10-second video and then I'm putting my phone away from a content perspective, just so I have it like, oh, I went here. And I can look back 10 years and be like, oh, wow, I got.
The good thing is, the one thing I don't even know if I do that now, which is annoying. I do, the thing I like about concerts or anything, you can just go on Instagram and search,
right?
Taylor Swift, Madison Square Garden, and it'll show up.
Yeah.
And you're like, I was there.
No, for sure. But I think because of all the AI and all the photo images, they remind you were there and it's cool to see. So that's the only reason I limit myself to one content picture.
Yeah, I like it. And I think it.
And because I don't post on Instagram like that. So it's not like
the content for it. Yeah. I think it was cool. And it's always interesting seeing 12, 13-year-old kids. It's just fascinating because it's just like, that's not the age of our children. So it's cool to just see, I mean, incredibly well-spoken. They're just way smarter than kids our age, because like his daughter went up and spoke and like, it was like she was running for president.
Yeah.
It was like perfect tone, perfect flow. And I was like, all right, like this is like very impressive. Like seeing.
No, well, that's what I think with, she even ended the speech like, this is all courtesy of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Right. But you have to deliver it. Yeah. You have to deliver. And it's the social and emotional skills are going to be the most important for this next generation.
Yeah.
Everything else is solved for.
Yeah. You can. Yeah, I agree. And I think that's why, like, watching her go up and learn how to speak.
Yeah.
And speak very eloquently.
Look, my kids are way younger. So like, I'm not in that world, but what I've witnessed from the bat mitzvah is if your most important part as a parent is to have them socially and emotionally aware.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
Because everything else.
By the way, I would argue that 30 years ago that was the right thing to do.
But we didn't know that.
We didn't know that. Instead, it was about getting the best grades or being good
learning
at sports
calculus or whatever.
And the reality is, as an adult, if you want to be a well-adjusted adult, you have to be incredibly good at communication. You have to be incredibly
And there's going to be a
empathetic.
huge divide.
Yeah.
Because from a knowledge standpoint, you can figure anything out on Grok, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity.
Yeah.
You name the platform.
Yeah.
Everything you could figure out.
Yeah.
You could probably be as knowledgeable as like a doctor just off
Yeah. 100%.
these AI.
I believe that.
Even a lawyer, anything.
Yeah. I mean, I get a legal agreement. I toss it in ChatGPT. But what are my risks here? What you just have to know how to prompt what you're looking for. But once you learn that, it's easy. Like I do, I put all my blood tests. I put all my legal agreements. I put my lease for my house.
Yep.
I literally put everything. Why would I ever spend money? Like for an individual to spend money on a lawyer, it doesn't make sense. Businesses will always have certain needs, but you could draft, I want a simple agreement between my landlord and I on the gardening.
Yes. All of that solved.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with that. The other thing I wanted to talk about last week in LA was the Upfront Summit.
It was at Intuit Dome, right?
It was at Intuit Dome. So Upfront is a venture fund based out of Los Angeles, been around a very long time. And they've been doing this annual summit where it's become like, a pretty big boondoggle for VCs all over the world. Everyone kind of comes to LA for a few days. This year, everyone was staying on the West Side in Venice and Marina Del Rey area. And so it ended up, a lot of my investors were in town. So I had to spend, a decent amount of time on the West Side with a lot of different people. And, it's always fascinating when VC communities get together and what is kind of the flavor of the moment. What are they excited about? One, the one theme I did hear from everyone who is investing, it's getting nutty again. Like deals are getting priced high. A lot of capital is going to work again. And it's like, it's a race again. Like people are fucking writing checks. So that's always good. If you're a founder and you're trying to raise money, great time. There's a lot of money out there. Obviously.
Did you actually go to the Intuit Dome?
No.
Oh, you just went to the events?
I went to the events. Yeah. I went to 4 events. And I got to kind of talk to a lot of different types of VCs that I've kind of known over the years. And everyone's very active and like aggressively deploying capital. And then second was the themes are the themes that everyone talks about already, which continue to be AI, defense tech, kind of a lot of like robotic manufacturing type businesses.
Hardware is hot.
Yeah. Because I think like
people are realizing AI solves software.
Yeah.
So no one's investing in software.
Yeah.
And if you can figure out how to build the next great hardware, you have a shot to be a differentiated company.
Let's assume a world where tariffs stay for a long time. You then have no choice. You have to figure out manufacturing in America. And what you've seen, I mean, I've seen the demos of some of the robotics companies. You're going to be able to make stuff in America pretty quickly because the robotics is good. The cost of robots are going to come down. And so I think a lot of simple manufacturing, even in China, most auto manufacturing is automated. It's not with people. So in America, now that there's capital available for robotics, that wasn't something that was like everyone was investing in.
I think 10 years ago, no one wanted to invest in hardware because they thought it was too hard.
Now,
and like Apple figured it out.
Yeah.
They were like one of the few companies that was able to figure it out. And now everyone realizes the rest of tech is kind of commoditized. Yeah. In a
I think like SaaS is tough. SaaS is definitely tough, which was where a lot of money went the last decade.
And yeah, I think it's clearly has the runway. There's going to be the Uber of hardware, whatever it is.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's more likely that there's so many areas where human labor needs to be replaced, right? Like restaurants.
Like Chipotle, right? The company I invest in, Hyphen.
Chipotle, everything needs to go. Manufacturing, agriculture, We need to find ways to replace those jobs as fucking fast as possible.
And there were so many companies 10, 15 years ago, some that I invested in that all failed.
Yeah.
They all failed. It's almost similar like the pets.com failed.
Yeah.
But then what's the dog food company that sold for billions to Florida company? Chewy.
Yeah.
So Chewy worked, pets.com failed.
Yeah.
So we're going to see the same with hardware.
Yeah.
Second generation or third maybe at this point that can succeed because there's massive demand. And I think costs have come down.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was the problem, right?
Because the Unitree, which is the Chinese company, they're slinging robots for like 4 Gs.
Yeah.
Like if I could get a $5,000 robotic dog in my house that will kill an intruder.
Or just be there to prevent an intruder.
Whatever, shoot them. I don't care. I don't want to shoot them. Let the fucking dog shoot them.
That's a good a lawyer question.
Yeah.
If your dog shoots the intruder, are you liable?
You got to put the dog down.
Yeah.
The dog goes for attempted murder?
Yeah. Whatever. Throw the dog in jail. I'll get a new fucking
robot.
$4,000 robot.
Because if you have a dog and it bites somebody, usually you have to put it down
Yeah,
for legal
yeah.
reasons. So if your robotic dog shoots somebody, you have to.
Yeah.
What's the legal framework around if you have a dog and it kills someone? Are you liable or no?
Yeah.
You as the owner.
I'm not a lawyer, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure you get punished. Yeah.
Like you go to jail.
You could go to jail. Because that means it might have been off a leash.
Right.
And like, for example, in LA, I don't think you're allowed to have dogs off leashes.
I mean, I've never owned a dog, so
yeah.
never
But I know like in Beverly Hills, if a dog is off a leash, I've literally seen police stop. I'm like, get your fucking dog back on a leash.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I think like robotic in all of these labor shortage industries where costs have gotten, like to me, robotics is very deflationary. Because once, think about insurance, workman's comp, like fucking pay. Like if you have to invest in a $50,000 robot that works for 2 years, it's way better than hiring anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 50% cheaper than labor. So you're already seeing, to me, the reason why I'm so bullish on robotics, Waymo is the most aggressive use case of robot, which is floating around the streets of LA and it is crushing it. Crushing. Everyone's on Waymo now.
Yeah. Waymo's everywhere. And I have to take a shot at one of my best friends, Derry.
Yeah.
He was a robotics engineer in 2005, and I've been grilling him on chats. And he sent in a chat that, can you believe this? I should have been a robotics engineer. I mean, the guy was a Stanford 4 point whatever.
Yeah,
GPA.
he'd be on like the founding team.
And I'm
Waymo.
like, it's embarrassing. You're not a billionaire.
Yeah, it really is. He's
Sorry,
still
Derry.
really rich.
He's rich, but he should be a billionaire.
Yeah. Probably had to work a lot harder.
No, but imagine if he went to SpaceX in 2005.
Yeah. Oh, here's a fun story. I won't say who it is, but I had dinner 2 nights ago with someone that started SpaceX in 2012. And he was head of engineering. He was there when there were like 25 people.
Before Elon took over?
Elon was there.
Oh, Elon was there. Because remember, someone else started SpaceX,
Yeah.
then Elon took over.
And, really, really just understanding like Elon's is insane. Like his ability to just operate. And one of the things he was talking about that was so fascinating, because he was just asking about my business and he was asking about my competition. And I was like, yeah, we haven't really had any like direct competition at our size yet. And I was like, what about you guys? I'm like, who was SpaceX competition? And he said it was
NASA?
Boeing. It was Boeing.
Okay.
And he's like, even if it wasn't Boeing, Elon was incredibly important, incredibly smart about making a boogeyman out of a company that threatened us, and that motivated the team more than anything.
That's similar to the Michael Jordan stories, that he made up an enemy.
Yeah.
That he made up a story of like an opponent. Like there's like a famous story that they were playing, I think it was the Bullets at the time. Now they're called the Wizards.
Yeah.
And he told the whole team, he goes, this guy's been talking shit about me.
Yeah.
And it was all false.
Yeah.
But he made it up in his own head and he put up like 50.
Yeah. And I think I took away from that meeting, man, you really, as a business, you need an enemy. I think that's very motivating to have an enemy.
If you just, athletics, I think, is the easiest analogy. And I think all the greats made that.
Well, Uber had Lyft.
Yeah.
Bird had Lime. Google had Yahoo.
But even
Microsoft had Apple.
But the point is, you have to make it up in your head.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
even if it doesn't exist.
Yeah, but for an individual, yes. For a company, we need to be aligned on who our enemy is and say that any progress for them is digression for us.
Right.
And I think that's a really interesting takeaway. But like, there's a lot of other stories you share that I don't feel comfortable sharing. But like, really fascinating to like be under that environment and the amount of pressure and how aggressive he is, and just like the pushing of like his team. Because I was like, this guy, he's not micromanaging because he has too much going on, but he's just created a culture in all of his companies that push.
So I guess the question is, for someone that has that mentality, can they turn it off once they reach the success?
Probably not. No, I don't think so.
So
you need a life.
You have to be wired differently.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I think
like Tom Brady hasn't turned it off. He's a psychopath.
Yeah. I think I would say it differently. I think maybe you could turn it off, but it just comes down to like, if you view something as a threat or competition, then it's fight or flight. And so then each person, but the problem is there's a lot of people around the world that they see something as competitive and they get turned off by it. And they're like, I don't want to deal with that shit.
Yeah. I get the point of being as competitive as possible, and what's the end goal, and does it achieve kind of you're at peace? And I actually had this conversation with a mutual, very close friend of ours, that we were talking about some folks that we all know, and we're like, they can't turn it off.
Yeah.
And we're comfortable being at a place where, like, as long as you can provide for your family and live a good life, like, why are you still competing?
Yeah.
And other people that's why I'm not a billionaire, right?
Yeah.
You have to have that mentality.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And I think in a business, you kind of need it though. When you're operating a business, you need that boogeyman that you're fighting. Otherwise,
but the boogeyman never ends.
No, but it depends on what your end goal is, right? For some people like Tom Brady, the boogeyman is forever. Yeah. Michael Jordan, when he wakes up and plays golf,
he wants to kill some 65-year-old guy.
Yeah, so that's
and be like, hey, I'm gonna be better at you.
But I think an athletic mentality is very different. I'm sure there are other people that wake up and don't give a shit.
Yeah,
and that were great.
I mean, I actually admire.
I don't think Shaq gives a shit.
I think he does. He DJs every weekend. He's in every commercial.
Yeah, he just might like getting laid.
Maybe. He likes being famous.
Yes. But I don't know if he doesn't need to win every single second.
He's on the TNT podcasts or the broadcast when there's no Kenny and Charles. Like he went with like the B team yesterday. Yeah. Like during the Warriors game I was watching.
Yeah.
It's like, wasn't the A team.
Maybe you're Shaq. He might not just want to be home. That might be another thing.
Maybe.
All right, let's move on to some news.
Let's talk about DeepSeek real quick. I know it's a little further down.
Yep.
So The Information, which is a tech blog that's been around forever, put out an article, which we all knew was true, but they detailed it, that basically the black market for Nvidia's chips is massive.
Yeah.
And people are smuggling through Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia.
Which we kind of saw when we saw Singapore was like 10% of their business.
But then the more interesting thing is, because DeepSeek proved what they can do, that you don't need the H100 chip, which is their vintage.
You could use their cheaper chip.
You can use the gaming chip. Mm-hmm. And the gaming chip is much cheaper. So the gaming chip goes for $2,000 at retail. If you were like an Nvidia customer, it's going for $5,000 in China. But there's numerous universities in China, tech companies, research centers that all are buying these black market gaming chips because DeepSeek unlocked that you can use these cheaper chips.
Yeah, they still have the compute power.
And that because of the code, right?
Yeah.
The code allows a cheaper chip to be just as effective.
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating.
But the chip is still NVIDIA's?
It's still NVIDIA. I think it's fascinating on multiple fronts. First, this is like arms dealing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, that's why there was sanctions to not sell to China and not.
But we're not stopping it.
Yeah. Well, it's impossible to stop it. If Singapore is a front, you can't put you can't allow.
Can't you just follow the trail?
So I'll give you an example. In gray market retail goods, clothes, shoes, Nike shoes have chips. So you could track it. If they want to, they could track it. They don't want to.
So from NVIDIA's perspective, they're just like, we want to make the most revenue and we know this is happening. We don't care. From the US government's perspective, wouldn't you say, get a handle on this? You're giving it to our enemy.
Yeah.
And we don't need to get into like politics of all this, but we're all America first, America first. This is the easiest thing to be like, stop selling them.
Yep.
We know where it's going.
Yeah. I think there's a lag. I think like you have to like, obviously they had the access to the chip, but you actually have to prove how they got, you have to track it. You got to show that it went through Singapore to like information is just making the claim, which it could be 100% accurate. But like in the face of a government.
They had employees from Nvidia that had visited China and they were shocked how much Nvidia chips they had.
Yeah.
The employees
were like, this doesn't make sense. Yeah. So I think that will be the next. It's just like, it's like a delayed impact. I don't think you can, like last year they put the chip kind of restrictions to China, which I think was the right move.
But only for the highest one.
Yeah.
I think now it's kind of expanded.
Yeah. So I think now they'll expand it and I think it'll happen fast. And I think, with David Sachs and Sriram and these people there, they're like, yeah, we need to shut these motherfuckers down.
I'm curious because they know what's going on.
Yeah. But you have to prove it. That's the key. Like,
so
you need to show
David Sachs, he's the AI and crypto czar.
Yeah.
He's as capable of anyone to understand this whole traffic flow of chips.
But how do you prevent someone from Singapore to sell it to China? You cannot do economic sanctions on Singapore.
We're doing tariffs on everyone.
I know, but like tariff is different than like, we know you're selling it to China. Fuck you. That's a big difference. It's scary to do that because there is some real business in Singapore, but it's probably 1/10 of what's actually happening.
Yeah, Nvidia has lost, I think, $750 billion in market cap in the last few weeks. And obviously some of it's macro, some of it's just people realizing you don't need the most expensive chip.
Yeah.
And your guidance is going to go lower.
Yeah.
If DeepSeek really unlocked...
Or it opens up, you could take the bull case could be, fuck it, if it's the gaming chip, I could afford that. Yeah, should have 2 chips.
And that's what's so fascinating about AI is how quickly everything's moving.
Yeah.
The fact that in China, they figured out gaming chips can be as effective as the most expensive version of the chip. And they just like backdoored it. And I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know. The whole thing is just moving so quickly. And every week there's a story that you're just kind of, it's mind boggling.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome.
I think it's amazing as being someone that watches this stuff closely, but I just am blown away at the progress because nothing has happened like this.
Yeah. And I think that's why, like, I mean, from an investor standpoint, everyone is so giddy because it's like, oh my God, this is like real tech. We haven't had real tech in a while. Like we had like the mobile app.
SaaS was a sales arm.
Yeah, it wasn't real tech.
SaaS was just basically like
who's the best salesperson?
Yeah.
Yeah. DocuSign. They're the best sales team. But everyone else caught up now. And now like this shit is like, and it's going like pretty sick. It's pretty sick.
It's amazing. And everyone's saying that every VC you talk to, they're trying to hire or invest in the company with the fewest employees, not with the most employees. Because if you're not using the tech, then you're not a tech company.
Yeah, 100%. And then I think you're going to that's why I think a combination of a slowdown in the economy, the mass firings in the federal government, AI, we're in for a bloodbath for unemployment for the next 2 years. That's my gut. And I think, but with that will come new industries, new jobs.
Of course,
new things.
There's definitely going to be a lot of pain in the white collar world.
Yeah.
I think the labor world is fine.
Yeah. The robots are 5 years away.
Yeah. You're still going to need a plumber.
Yeah.
I think you could, if your ceiling is, I want to make $150K a year, be a plumber.
Why? They make more.
Or whatever, $250K. You're not.
I know plumbers that make $250.
You're not going out of job.
No. Well, I think you will eventually.
You'll have technology that helps you be a better plumber.
I think a robot will be a great plumber.
Toilet's clogged. Do you want a robot just coming in, or you want a human to be like, "Hey, I'll fix it"?
The robot's
We've had a lot of plumbing issues. I need a face-to-face person to
I don't know.
fix it.
I'll have to see. I mean, we're letting people hop in robotic cars, which I never did. Quietly, people are jumping in a robot every day. Mm-hmm. Quietly. It just exploded. What are they doing? 200,000 rides a week?
It's a lot. I don't know what the number is.
They're going to do 10 million rides this year, I think, which is insane.
What's it mean for Uber?
Uber partnered with Waymo in Austin.
Okay.
So you have to still remember, Uber has the demand already.
Yeah.
Why does Waymo want to do marketing? Who gives a shit?
They don't have a person to market.
What?
They don't have a person to market.
There's no one person to drive it. Who's going to market it? If I'm Waymo, I just partner with Uber.
Yeah.
Look, Uber has an expense of drivers. If Waymo can cut that expense.
It's kind of shocking how much Uber has raised their take rate on the rides.
Yeah, it's like 70%.
Which is why they're a $160 billion company.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable business.
I had to go somewhere yesterday for an appointment in Santa Monica, and I Ubered. And I was like, hey, it's going to be 20 minutes. Do you mind waiting? He goes, how much is your ride cost? And I told him, and he goes, why are they charging you so much? He goes, I only get this much.
Yeah.
And I was like, will you wait?
It's over 50% the take rate.
And I was like, will you wait? I'll just Venmo you on the way back and you can keep the margin. He goes, yeah, I'm waiting.
Yeah. I get that offer all the time. It's crazy. Do you do this every day? Because if you do, I'm only getting $20. They charge you what, 50?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shocking.
All right, let's move on. So last week, Stripe released some of its numbers and it was pretty fascinating. And I think the thing that I was most interested to see was they did $1.4 trillion of payment volume in 2024. And here's the most impressive thing. It was up 38%. And it's all due to AI related software products. So OpenAI uses Stripe. Cursor uses Stripe. A number of these AI companies, Perplexity, all of these random companies are now using, and then even SpaceX is using it for Starlink in certain markets. And so all of this new innovation and technology and these new products has created like this whole new set of like revenue opportunities, which is crazy. And Stripe is getting the beneficiary of it. The more interesting thing was in 2020, Stripe processed 36 billion. 2021, they processed 95 billion. Why the fuck did they go public then? 2022, it went down to 74 billion. 2023, they went down to 50 billion. In 2 fucking years, they lost damn near 50% of their top line revenue. 2024, 65, now 91 billion. What the fuck are these guys doing?
Did you listen to them?
No.
They were both on All In, the brothers.
I didn't know.
So their case for it. So there's 2 reasons. One, Stripe is one of the most in-demand secondary
Yeah,
markets.
so they can get liquidity when they want.
They probably all are. Both are worth billions.
Yeah.
And they haven't gone public. So I think that's the most important reason. They're not going to be
They're
honest
rich
about
and they
that.
don't care.
They're rich and they're young and they want to build the next $1 trillion company.
Yeah.
That's honestly the real reason.
Yeah, I can't think of any other reason.
And the second reason they were like, we don't want to be dictated by the markets, but the real reason is you're already so rich.
Yeah.
Like you don't need more than 2-3 billion for generational wealth.
Yeah, those guys are dorks. What do they need all that money for? What are they doing?
But I'm just saying,
they're not buying a team.
You can't afford one.
Yeah, that should be a motivation.
You can't
They could
afford
buy like a shitty soccer team, aren't they Irish?
They're Irish, yeah.
Yeah, you could buy some shitty Irish.
A couple $100 million shitty Irish company or team.
You're not buying no Premier League team.
No, those are like 3-4 billion.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the reason. And no one wants to, they can give all the bullshit they want to give on PR.
Was it good? I didn't listen to it.
They're just extraordinarily smart.
Yeah.
The thing, I've heard them on multiple podcasts. The thing about the Collisons.
But what are they smart about? Because they just do payment processing.
So separate from the payment processing,
they're just smart guys.
Their knowledge base is crazy.
Yeah, they know everything.
They know everything about every industry.
Yeah, except football.
They don't know football. They don't know NFL. They don't know if you should pay Sam Darnold or not. They're not the guys to go to.
Well, that's not impressive to me then.
But they have this knowledge base that I am blown away. But then it also begs the question, how are you reading all these books and building a company? How do you know everything?
Because the company's not that impressive. Isn't Adian does the exact same fucking revenue as them, exact same payment process.
And they're just sitting
and they're not in podcasts and they're not in anything. They're just publicly traded.
And they're just reading all day.
Yeah. I think if they stopped fucking reading, they'd have $1 trillion company.
Yeah. They talked about Kaiser, which is ultimately Kaiser Permanente, the hospital chain. And that Kaiser was building tunnels and then decided to build freeways and then they decided a hospital. Like, how do you know all this?
Yeah. Because they're not working. This is why they can't be publicly traded. When you don't work, there's nothing. When you have to do fucking shareholder earnings calls, and these guys are reading about Kaiser Permanente. Look, they built an insane business. But
I think they'll be fine. They're going to be a multi-$100 billion company.
Oh yeah, I'm not worried about that. But I'm not like blown away by them anymore. I've lost like.
I mean, all they did was simplify processing to a see-through.
They had such a head start on fintech and what they could have built, and the business they could have built.
What they figured out, which is what we knew when we were operating e-commerce businesses, is how opaque the data was. Yeah. We didn't know what we were getting charged.
Yeah.
And they just said, hey, here's what you're getting charged up front. Yeah. There's no hidden fees. Are you willing to pay this fee?
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. I like it. But it just
they had a good marketing arm of getting customers.
Yeah. And they had the capital to go do it. Right? Like they're probably now profitable.
But the thing is, if you really want to dig deeper, because these two guys have read so much about history, they go in these pitches and
they sound like geniuses.
Yeah. They say Kaiser's doing this.
Yeah. They say, during the Roman Empire, when people were paying for fucking bread.
The pyramids. Yeah. I'm sure they've pitched the pyramids, the Roman Empire. Yeah. Kaiser Permanente. They pitched everything. And that's how you raise money.
Not everybody, but yes. That era.
And if you're young.
Yeah.
If you're young and you can spit that knowledge, you can raise unlimited capital.
No, not anymore. These people are metric driven now. Like I think a few people, I think you can raise 50 million. You can't raise 500.
But I think the playbook is easy if you're in your 20s. You have this background of some superior university.
Like you're a little autistic and
a lot of people play into that.
Yeah, it is fake.
Yeah.
Most people it's fake.
And they play into it and then they start talking about how what they're doing, like you said, the Roman Empire.
Yeah,
They'll come up with some analogy of King George.
Trust me, I've listened to this. I spit my fucking tequila out.
And it's not that hard.
Yeah. But I think you can raise.
I think the reason they read all the books is to raise the money.
Yeah. Because
to sound like geniuses.
So you don't have to actually build the business.
Yes.
Just, you talk about Roman Empire, people are like, wow, smart.
Because no VC is studying the Roman Empire.
What is the Roman? Little Caesar? What's going on? No one knows I don't zero about the Roman Empire.
I know, but they're, the meme. You've heard the Roman Empire meme, right? Like that's how males feel like they're smart.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nonsense. All right, moving on. More importantly, fuck the Roman Empire. Target came out yesterday warning February sales are soft. We already heard January sales were soft. They've already come out and said February is soft. What's interesting is they one of the comments was talking about tariffs. The tariff impact was not in February. Nothing happened in February tariffs. The consumer is fucking soft.
Yeah, it's April 2nd.
Yes, that's what is he fucking talking about tariffs?
He said he didn't want to do April 1st because he didn't want to be an April Fool's joke.
That's smart. But like, dude, Abercrombie came out, had really good sales, really good earnings, but warned that this year was going to be soft. Target came out, Walmart already came out.
Ross missed.
Which is insane. It is bad. We are in a consumer recession, 100%.
And I think tariffs are going to increase it because goods have to be more expensive.
Yeah, I think the tariffs will have an impact. It'll just exacerbate already the shittier problem. And I think the main shift will be, from what I'm hearing from these big retailers, grocery is where all the money is going anyways, because people just need essentials. Now there's like a general feel of like recessions around the corner. People are pretty sure that like everyone's job is up for fucking grab right now. Mm-hmm. Whether it's white collar or federal government.
You've seen the DC real estate has fallen off a cliff.
I'm in the market for a DC condo.
I'm sure you got one. Go live at
I've looked. I mean, if it's cheap enough.
Go live at the Ritz. You'll meet everyone.
Well, Ritz is expensive.
Everyone's coming through there.
Yeah. Everybody. The place is hot in the lobby. I've hung out there. It's a vibe.
But I think the interesting thing about just the economy, and I'm really curious how the administration is going to balance it. I thought, I don't know if you saw Chamath's tweet thread.
No.
So his tweet thread, and he talks about it on their pod, was his constituents are asset light. That's like the broad point. They don't own equities.
Yeah.
They don't own real estate.
Which is what I was saying a couple of weeks ago. I was like, they don't care about the stock market.
They don't care. So he's making decisions that make them feel like they got to win. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're fucking this country. We're fucking that country. And then that steel worker's like, great.
Yeah.
America first, the whole thing. The other part of it is he's only friends with really rich people.
Yeah.
When he goes to Mar-a-Lago, if the stock market's down, that's not a good look for him.
So here's my counter. This is what I think is happening. He's told all his buddies, this shit's going to tank. I'm going to fucking run this thing to the ground. And then I'm going to get interest rates cut like a motherfucker. We know.
Oh, interest rates are getting cut this whole year.
Yes, that's my point. I think if I look at this.
All he cares about is being the hero at Mar-a-Lago.
Yes. And I think for 6 months, here's my honest opinion. You need to gut the fucking country. Let everyone feel the pain. What is Powell going to do? Inflation? Problem. Consumer spend? Problem. Unemployment is going to fucking tick up. Then once Powell rips that fucking...
Yeah, June, there's like, I think the probability is a 50% chance of a rate cut.
Yeah.
2 months ago, it was a 0.
Yeah, it was 0. It was 0 for the whole year.
Yeah.
And so that means by the end of this year...
I think we'll get 3 cuts.
So if you get 3 cuts and let's say they're a quarter and maybe a 50, and then once that happens, party's back.
Well, the rich people will get definitely very rich.
Yes. But that's my point, is that like In order to get to that point, we need to experience pain. That's the only way we get there. And I think the job losses will force innovation, as it always has in the past.
Yep.
And they're going to leave the innovation to the private sector. These government jobs need to be replaced with private jobs. Like we're not going to hire more people in the federal government. I'm optimistic that it's 6 months of pain. I think it gets really fucking ugly. And then Powell has no choice. And then I think,
yeah, maybe he's doing this to back Powell into a corner.
yeah, why not? He knows all the thing that matters. He saw the 2% under Sleepy. He's like, I wish I had that.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the only reason Silicon Valley existed was 0% interest rates.
Yeah.
That's what created all the innovation.
So guess who's running the presidency? Silicon Valley.
They know.
That's
how David Sachs became a billionaire.
Yes, all of them became billionaires. What do you think they're doing? That's why I think it's the playbook. That's why I like that he's doing in the beginning of his presidency, because he needs to. The only way this gets fixed is if you have to experience pain. If you experience pain from a year from now, before the midterms, you're 100% losing.
Yeah, you'll lose both.
You have to fucking do it right now.
Yeah, he's got till June, I think.
I would say it's till the end of the year.
I think it's curious because he's got the rich guys in his ear because that's who he cares about. He fake cares about the poor people. So what's he going to do? So we have this is going to be my content, but we can talk about it now. The crypto
summit
is Friday, March 7th. What's the announcement? Let's give predictions.
I don't think there's going to be any announcement. I think it's just the first meeting of
they said they're making announcements.
I mean,
and the invite list. Sailor's there.
Everyone's there. It's a hot list. It is the who's who.
I think zero taxes on crypto is what they're going to say.
All crypto or American crypto?
All crypto. And I don't know if that's a sell event or a buy event.
I mean, it's a good sell event, right?
It could just tank the market.
Yeah. It could be a short-term sell. I think if he does the no tax, I think it's American crypto, and he hooks up Rippling and Ripple. Yeah, Ripple. What are the other American? Cardano's American?
Cardano, Ripple, and Solana. Those were the three, and I think that there was a big sell-off event.
Yeah.
And I think Barron told him, and he had to retweet, don't worry, I'm not freaking out about Bitcoin
Ethereum, yeah. Big B.
Barron might be the crypto czar.
Yeah. But Barron's in his father. The memes are so good with Barron. All right.
So CZ's there. Binance.
Yeah.
Mark Andreessen.
Brian Armstrong posted he's going.
Vitalik, Ethereum. Yeah. Kathy Wood, ARK. Michael Saylor, obviously everyone knows. David Sachs.
I mean, that's the hitters of crypto.
They have to have a real announcement. They can't have all these people just be like, yeah, we're really going to think about it.
I don't know. I think it's hard to get an announcement out by Friday.
So you're going to get, it would be the equivalent of getting the most important people of any industry, and then you just say some bullshit.
Yeah, but that happens all day. DC. It's DC. Nothing happens. What happens in DC?
But don't you think David Sachs was able to rope all these guys in, saying like, we're going to make some progress on Friday?
Yeah, I think there will be. I don't think there's no tax on crypto. That's unbelievable if that's the case.
And I don't know if it's good or bad for crypto. That's the problem.
I think long term it's great. You just keep fucking buying and selling, and whenever you make some money.
And the other thing is they just have to announce a number of what they're buying of all this stuff.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen on Friday.
So you don't think they're going to announce they're buying?
I think they could, but I don't think they'll give you a number.
They've already said they're going to do a strategic
but I don't think they're going to give you a number. I don't think they're ready for that yet.
Do you think it's much ado about nothing?
Yeah, but I think it's really good to have those people in a room.
I agree, but
I like the fact when anytime the leaders of an industry are working with the government to make progress.
And I'll tell you, the vol's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Because if they say nothing, the shit's tanking.
Yeah. But if they say something remotely positive, it's going berserk. I mean, that's the market right now. Within every single day, the volatility within the S&P 500 is bananas.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. For some actual good news, we can go head over to On Running. On Running is on absolute fucking fire. They grew double digits last year. Their sales increased by, 35% in the fourth quarter at a time where Foot Locker sales declined, Nike sales are declining, most athletic apparel brands, footwear are struggling. On has found its stride, no pun intended, and is just absolutely growing like a weed. And On is the first, when everyone thought Under Armour was a threat to Nike?
Yeah.
I never felt that because I never saw great product and great marketing. Under Armour made strides in like youth football and, college football. But like On Running has pierced the veil on culture. Like you go to LA and New York.
Yeah, all the rich guys are wearing it.
All the rich guys are wearing it. Their collaboration with Loewe, super hot. Everyone's wearing it in like the fashion circles. I just think that execution and the product and the marketing, it's really special what they're doing. It is a real threat to Nike in the running category, where I just don't know if Nike could reclaim On and Hoka and Brooks and Asics in the running. And even with the marketing that Nike's doing, I think they're doubling down on women's sports. I think that's where they think the opportunity is. I think they feel like they can't win in some of these other categories.
I think you're right. I think women's sports is having a moment. If I just anecdotally, I watch First Take every morning. Women's sports is probably 25, 30% of the show now.
Yeah.
Whether it's Caitlin Clark, Juju Watkins.
Yeah.
That has to contribute to the awareness of the sport.
Yeah.
And I think the WNBA, the product's extraordinarily good at this point.
I mean, I think the game, Caitlin Clark's game, isn't it in United Center? And it's
she can sell at arenas.
Yeah, that's so like Nike.
So On is a $17 billion company, call it, after this earnings release.
Yeah.
So Roger Federer is a billionaire separate from his tennis.
Yeah.
Because doesn't he own a large piece of the company?
I don't know. I don't know what his deal was.
I'm going to put it in Grok right now.
Yeah, I don't know, but On Running being worth $17 billion is just bananas.
Yeah, because it's
a very new business. I mean, Nike's only worth $115 billion.
They could come for them.
They can come for them. And only On is only cracked fucking running. They don't. It's not like
it's also athleisure. People were
lifestyle. It's huge.
And yeah, I don't think people like it. It used to be cool to like walk around in a Nike fleece. I don't think it is anymore.
Not for an adult.
Like I'd rather have an Aloe sweatshirt.
That's a problem. I mean, I think a lot of people would rather wear Aloe. And I think a lot of people would rather wear On. I think a lot of people would rather wear some small up and coming brand. It's a real issue.
Yeah. So Federer joined in 2019. It's not public what his, he was an investor and a global ambassador. I gotta imagine he's at least worth $1 billion off of it.
$1 billion would
be high.
Yeah, would be high. But I'm sure he's made a lot of money. We could find out.
But I also think a personality like him, who watches Roger Federer, all rich people.
Yeah. I knew On was basically what happened.
And he left Nike for On, which is crazy.
Which the thing that I don't think people realized, and I realized this from traveling the world, the Colin Kaepernick campaign will be if you were to study Nike, it is the campaign that turned off old white people. And Nike has always been a brand about the youth. So they're like, we don't give a fuck what old white people think. So all of this generation, the problem is people, older people are cooler now than they were 30 years ago. So no one gave a shit what old people did.
Well, the tire is different.
Yeah.
So you don't need to wear a suit to go to work.
No, you're wearing athleisure. And so I remember vividly, fucking 10 years ago, I saw old white people. I'm never wearing that brand again. And they were just waiting for a brand to speak to them. Roger Federer, which is
he's like
royalty to that demographic.
He's the equivalent of what the British royal family wants to exude.
Yeah. So he's that to this demographic. He partners with this brand on running. They start infiltrating Brentwood and Hamptons and Soho. And
yeah, like I'd imagine so Indian Wells is a tournament that's happening.
100% of people are wearing. No one's wearing fucking Nike at Indian Wells. Who's walking around in Nike shoes?
Yeah, it's true.
Nobody.
Nike has Jordan. That's it.
That's it.
I think that's their last hurrah.
Yeah. I don't know. What are they? Travis Scott, he drops a shoe every 2 months.
No one wears Nike. He's wearing Jordans.
Yeah.
But, you're wearing Nikes.
I'm wearing my Agassiz today.
Okay.
Yeah.
But typically, if you were to walk around your office after we leave the pod, no one's wearing Nike.
No. And the thing is like, I'm wearing a 10-year-old shoe. I haven't bought a pair of Nikes in like a decade.
Yeah. I think they're in trouble.
Yeah. And I think like they lost a big demographic. Now On's everyone's brand.
And the other issue, they have Anthony Edwards, right?
Yeah. No, I think Adidas does.
But anyways, their whole business was built on NBA.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you get to catch any of the sports shows in the morning. The NBA players have turned the fans off.
Yeah.
They don't play games. They don't try in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
They're just giving a middle finger to the fans.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that strategy works. Like, I don't even think it makes sense to pay for the next big NBA guy.
No.
Is Anthony Edwards?
Adidas.
He's Adidas.
Yeah.
But Anthony Edwards went on a press conference and said, I don't want to be the face of the league.
Yeah.
And NBA players, the younger version, not the LeBrons and Steph, they were the last group that cared about the fans and showing up and making sure they put on a great product.
Yeah.
The younger people don't.
Yeah. So that has a big impact. So
you have to change your strategy is my point.
Yeah.
You can't focus on NBA guys. Yeah. I would not invest in any of these young NBA guys. And I love the NBA.
Yeah.
They don't care.
They don't care. Yeah. So I think if that's the case, then Nike's in deep shit because Nike basketball is a big part of their business.
Yeah. If I was a Nike consultant, or if anyone from Nike's listening, stop investing in NBA.
Yeah, and I think that's why they're going so big with Caitlin Clark, because you can get white people back.
Yeah. I mean, Caitlin Clark's bigger than 99% of the NBA.
Yeah. Besides LeBron and Steph, she's probably bigger than everyone else.
Yeah, I would say she's third. Yeah. In basketball.
Yeah. So
maybe soccer? Are they in
not in America. No, I mean, like Adidas, Messi is Adidas. Everyone's wearing Messi.
So when you go to youth sports events, what are people wearing? Other than jerseys. I know everyone's wearing jerseys.
Everyone's wearing jerseys. Like shoes, everything. On. I see kids with On.
Rich kids.
I mean, that's what I'm around.
Is it a $250 shoe?
No, it's the same price for kids. I mean, Nike shitty kids shoes, $125.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
I saw Fanatics had a write down in their valuation.
Yeah.
Why is that? I thought jerseys are bigger than ever. All the kids I see
think
around
they were just probably overvalued. I don't think their business is. I think they had $8 billion in revenue last year.
Yeah,
they're big. All right, winners, losers, content. Who's your winner of the week?
Dana White. Him and a sheikh from Saudi launching a boxing league. So they're going to do it globally. I think Dana White's just really good at what he does.
Yeah.
And I think boxing's problem is that the best fighters just pick and choose who they want to fight. And the UFC model is very different.
Right,
where everyone fights everyone.
Yeah.
And if you lose, you lose.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor's lost a bunch.
Yeah, which is fine.
And he's still the biggest star.
Yeah.
And he basically wants to bring that energy to boxing. He's backed by Saudi Arabia. So he's unlimited money.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to figure it out.
Yeah. So it's like the live golf of boxing.
Yeah. He wants it organized and everyone has to fight everyone.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah, just make the purse big enough. Everyone will have to come.
Yeah, and he referenced how the UFC started with 12 fighters, and then it became the 5 best fighters. And we're like, oh, they're the 5 best fighters.
Yeah.
And he said there's so much talent that's untapped in boxing because a lot of it's marketing, but he can do the marketing for them, which is what he does. He goes on Rogan and talks about 2 boxing matches everyone's going to watch.
Yeah. All right. I like it. I'll watch it. What's it called? I don't know yet.
TKO.
Oh, hot name.
And the shake was on Pat Mack this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
My winner is Sweet Green.
Okay.
They came out with their French fries, air fried avocado oil, a little seasoning.
So you think it's healthy?
I mean, it's just a healthier version of a French fry.
So like pop chips versus Lay's?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I remember I jokingly said when Sweet Green launched steak that I thought it was going to be an incredible impact for their business. The advertising that they have steak.
Mm-hmm.
And it did. People like showed up that normally wouldn't eat a salad. And I think now that you have a salad and some fries, that is more American palate. And the marketing campaign is really, really good because they show clean the ingredients of their fry versus what appears to be McDonald's French fries. I love it. I think it's a great campaign and I'm excited to try it. I'm going to try it this weekend.
Nice. I don't have a loser. I'm going to go with another winner.
Okay.
Timothée Chalamet. Even though he didn't win Best Actor.
Yeah, he's hot on social.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
He's just on the zeitgeist of everything. And obviously he's dating Kylie Jenner. And then I saw something on TikTok that the family didn't like him until he became really famous.
Which family?
Kardashians.
I mean, he was really famous a year ago, though.
They had to see him rise. He's at a different level now than he was a couple years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And he just seems like he's everywhere. I don't know. I just see him nonstop on social.
Yeah.
And even the Adam Sandler Chalamet clip. I don't know if you saw that.
What was it?
So first at Golden Globes, Nikki Glaser starts mocking Sandler. And then, he'll probably say Chalamet, in his Sandler voice. And then he did it at the Oscars in gym shorts and a hoodie.
Yeah.
And hugged him. And he just seems like he's resonating with everyone.
That's great. Amazing. Next up for loser for me. My loser is the commentator on MSNBC who talked about the 13-year-old at Trump's speech and who had cancer, and they made him a Secret Service agent. And she was like, saying very nice things. And at the end, she goes, I really hope he never has to deal with Jan 6 rioters and he commits suicide. Like, just stupid fucking commentary.
I didn't catch it.
Like, literally, like, shut the fuck up. Like, she has said all these nice things about him and then says that. Like, ultimately for me, like, if you want to change the political landscape in this country, you got to change your tone. You got to lead with positivity. You got to do what you're doing better, not shit on what people are doing. So she's my loser. Content.
I'm trying to think. There's no sports anymore. I want to watch the Bob Dylan movie with Chalamet. I haven't watched it. Chalamet.
Yeah. All right. Did I tell you I saw Adam Sandler playing basketball at the WeHo Park during the Golden Globes, like 2 hours before the Golden Globes?
I met him once. Nicest guy in the world.
Yeah. He seems like he was playing with random people.
Yeah. For someone as famous as he is.
Yeah.
Oh, my content was watch the SNL clips from last week.
With Shane Gillis.
Shane Gillis.
Couple of beers.
The opening was really funny. They did a Trump Elon thing. I've only seen the clips. I'm not going to watch an hour and a half of SNL.
Yeah. But
it was pretty funny.
Okay. My content, I was sick last week, so I was home basically every night. And I watched, I recommended that show Night Action. Then I watched the second season of The Recruit, also a CIA.
I love CIA shows.
Great.
Who's the star?
Noah Centenario, or he's like a big actor. I forgot how to pronounce his name. All right, that's all I got. What else we got? Anything else? Comments. A couple comments from YouTube. Okay, GC, I had to pause listening on Spotify to come give my 2 cents. D, you're the man. On and respectfully, I love the back and forth. The reason I and most likely many others like the podcast is because you guys are real. If we wanted opinions with no discourse, we would watch the news. It's nice to have perspective from people with success as well as living in California. Talk about the current state of things. Watching D and Drama slowly open their mind to the other side is refreshing, and I think they both want to push back on the logic that you use. The people in your ear telling the pod is worse are people who don't want to hear the truth. Can't handle the truth, or at the very least are just uncomfortable with it. I can understand the constant arguments being annoying to you, but 2/3 of the pod, just like the US, see things differently than you, and arguments or bickering can be a part of hard conversations.
Jesus,
I say all this
going.
to say I love the dynamic of all 3 of you in the podcast. Kathy still love it, and we encourage you to play along, and maybe you'll just see where we're coming from. With love, Bryce. All
Bryce,
right.
it's not 2/3. It's like 55-45. Sorry, Bryce.
Still majority. Next one at L Cardoso 6819. Love D and his candors literally makes the show. I do agree that Anand has been getting beat down lately, and he talks like a champ, takes like a champ to the chin. So good for Anand for being tough. I think we should allow Anand to back up lefty guest. Someone with the same Tupac charisma that D has. Choose wisely, Anand.
I have a guest.
Okay.
Big O.
Okay, bring him.
He wanted to listen because he had to tune off. He's like, I don't know what I'm getting into.
Yeah. I love that. Bring him on.
Big O is Omar Miller, famous actor, 8 Mile, CSI Miami, and multiple movies, but we've known him for 20 years.
Okay. I like it. Lastly, at Niraj, you guys should do a Bully Zach episode. Hashtag number 1 Zach hater. Hashtag sup Greg. 2 shout outs. One from Ali. Shout out to Kim Kardashian for swooping in and giving Nike some much needed innovation and excitement. Huge win for both parties. There you go. Skims is doing a Nike collaboration.
Yeah, that'll work.
That'll work.
I think I've never used Skims, the male product.
I've touched, we've seen the samples. It's fucking phenomenal.
People love it.
Yeah, it's great. Next from Kyle. Shout out to my boy, Brandon Waters, AKA Waters, who just proposed to his long-term girlfriend on our annual ski trip. He orchestrated the whole trip with 28 friends while also keeping it a secret. Love both of you guys and cheers to the beverages. Nice. Congratulations, guys. All right, that's it. We will see you back here on Sunday. Have a great and lovely weekend.
Peace.